Deja vu. We could have deja vu.
The MG-34 was first issued in 1934. It was a semi-automatic rifle that was developed by Germany. It was used as a weapon for people inside of tanks and airplanes, and it weighed about 12.1 kilograms.
The bazooka was one of the first anti-tank weapons. It killed a lot of people at once and was very powerful. It was nicknamed after the musical instrument because of its resemblance. Because it was such a great weapon, the Germans created their own version of it called the Panzerschreck.
The Sten was used a lot during the war because it was inexpensive and could be easily mass-produced for countries with large armies. However, the bad part about them was that they were usually inaccurate and would break very often and easily.
The Carabiner 98,000 was a rifle that was made by the German army. It was noted for its excellent accuracy and effective range of 800 meters. By the end of the war, it wasn't being used as much because it was difficult to carry around because of how bulky and heavy it was.
The Sturmgewehr 44 was originally called the Machine Pistol 43, but Hitler renamed it into what it is today. It was introduced by the German army and was the first true assault rifle. It was very fast and strong.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now.
The A-17 plane was a two-seat, single-engine plane that evolved from the YF-23. It's shaped with complex curves.
The P-38 Lightning had a range of 1,300 miles. Its maximum speed was 443 miles per hour. The P-38 was Lockheed's attempt to meet the requirements of the U.S. Army's Air Corps circular proposal.
The B-10 bomber was an airplane in the war that had bomb storage and enclosed cockpit and went 50% faster than most bomber planes.
The P-51 Mustang had a better engine than most other planes, and it could fly for 6 hours, which was something no other plane of that time could do.
The Grumman XF-4F-4 was a very important plane during the war because it had folding wings, 6 machine guns, and self-sealing gas tanks. Although those additions slowed down the plane, it enabled more planes to fit into the carrier. The ship USS 016 had a speed of 16.4 knots and was built on May 1st, 1942. The USS Cleveland was made in 1944, and the ship was used to help gain the recovery of Allied prisoners.
The USS Pennsylvania was also known as the B-38. It was the lead ship in the United States Navy, and it was the third ship to be named after the state of Pennsylvania.
The USS Brooklyn was also known as the CL-40. It was first launched on November 30th, 1936. The CL-40 was used to control the Caribbean Sea in the beginning of the war. The heavy tank T-28 was originally designed to break through German defenses at the Siegfried Line. It was later considered as a possible participant in an invasion of the Japanese mainland.
The medium tank T-24 was built in 1931 and only had 24 tanks of its kind. The T-24 was well armored for its time because of the multiple weapons that were attached to it. At first, it had problems with the transmission and fuel system, but later got fixed and started to be used more in World War II.
The light tank M22 was an American-designed machine. It was designed in 1941 after the British requested that American government designed a light tank. This specific tank weighed about 5.4 tons, which wasn't a lot compared to other tanks of that time. This machine impacted the World War II because it could go further without difficulties because of how light it was.
The LVT Mk4 was a tank in World War II. It stands for Landing Vehicle Tracked. This tank was introduced into the war in 1944. It had a rear door, which made it such a unique machine because not many tanks had this during this time period. The Mk4 was propelled by tracks instead of propellers, so it made it easier to go over water, sand, or jungle mud. However, it was hard to go over grass, dirt, or roads.
A story to tell. Everyone knows about it.